Yes. All right. Amen. We're here. We're here. Everybody, what's up? What's up? Would like to welcome you all to the Sweet Somethings podcast. This is a very special episode. We've got the all-star team from last year in the building. Let's go. All that. Um, these are the ones that the anointed ain't I don't know what I was saying, but I was saying anointed ones that did the 6 month recap last year. So we had some dope people on the individual, and then we had this group here, So now you get to put a face to the name that was there last year. So I'm gonna have everyone just say a little bit, introduce yourself, and let us know your favorite animal when you were growing up. I know each of you had a favorite animal. Don't tell me that you didn't. I know you did. I know you did. I know you did. But you guys know me, or you should. But my name is Joffrey, and I'm your host. And I'm so happy to share this stage with some great people. So I don't know how the screen looks for you guys, but we can go Shane, then Chin, then Naomi, then Uju. All right. So just intro yourself and say a little something. All right.
All right, my name is Shane. I'm happy to be back. It's
Yes.
it's always a blessing where um, you can definitely make it to another year. Like you never know, no
X.
matter what your age is. So the fact that we all can be back together is like really, really cool, really, really dope. So thanks for having us and me back
Yeah.
on. Favorite animal as a child. It was between a cheetah and giraffe. Cheetah just from a speed perspective, and I used to love like to race, so I think that has the slight edge. So I'd say cheetah for me, man.
Cheetah for you. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I hear that. Okay.
Was
Chin's.
I supposed to say
I
something else?
forgot how to
No, no, no.
Oh,
unmute
okay.
I think Chin just it's a delay. It's an AI delay. AI delay.
My name is Chinyere or Chin. Nice to see everyone again. I'm so excited everyone was able to make it too.
Oh,
Um, a little bit about me from a change from last year. I'm actually going to law school this
let's
August.
go. Come
So
on.
I'm excited. I'm gonna go back to school, so that's cool.
Come on.
And then my favorite animal growing up, which is still my favorite animal, are dolphins.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we should hit an update from last year. Yeah, give us a little.
That's
Shane, we got to double back on Shane. We gonna come back.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, Shane. Thank you. Hit us with an update.
Hi guys, I'm Naomi.
Hey.
Um, I currently live in New York City, and my favorite animal growing up, honestly, was Blue's Clues. It's a fake animal, but I had everything Blue's Clues growing up. Blue's
I
Clues
hear it.
shirt. I had a giant one. I had a pillow. So yeah, that was my favorite, my favorite animal.
I hear it.
I like that. Hey everyone, my name is Uju. Thanks, for hosting this again, Joffrey, and see everybody's faces finally. So a little bit about me. I'm still at UCF.
It's
But
okay.
yes, so I have an internship now. We finally got an internship in our major, yes, thank God. And my favorite animal growing up was a dolphin too. So
Oh
that's look.
wow. Okay.
I just feel like, they're the sweet, cute animals of the sea, because I'm not going to choose a shark. That's a little too much. And I'm not going to choose something as small as a shrimp. So, no.
Those are for eating. Let me stop. Yo, for me, let me see. Favorite animal. I just like animorphs. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna go with that. Animorphs.
What's an animal?
This is
Animorphs. Animorphs are. Oh, it's gonna sound interesting. I was gonna say it, but it sounded kind of funny. They are people with the ability to morph into animals.
Is that from a book
Yeah,
series?
that's a book.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Interesting.
I definitely read something like that growing up.
Yeah, yup, animorphs. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Yeah, but nah,
Really?
I would say maybe I don't. Yeah, maybe lion. Maybe I think I don't know. Or dogs. Dogs were cool. Dogs were
Dogs
cool.
are cute.
Yeah, dogs are cool. Dogs are
Dogs.
cool, man. So yeah, man. Yo, thank you guys. For coming through. we're gonna jump in. I know that since last year, it's been a year. You know what? We were just gonna jump in and say and see like, hey, what's the biggest takeaway from these last 6 months? But I wonder if the ending of last year, like that latter half, how did that flow for you briefly? How what was that kind of like, the latter half of 23, before we jump into our biggest takeaway from 2024, you know, for these first 6 months, right? Let's see. Let's go reverse order this time.
There we go. There
There
we
we go.
go.
Shane was like, I'm
Jay was
thinking.
thinking hard, man.
I need a little bit of time.
He was like, I'm
Right.
thinking.
First.
I
I'm
was just like, man.
not being darn. Sheesh, let's think. Let's think. I remember saying that the first half of last year, at least, was just me learning and really seeing God and His different facets and moving in different ways. So for the last half of the year, I decided well, let's start professionally. I decided to lock in on my business
Okay.
and I got a lot done. I think I was seeing that in the view of stewardship and just seeing that as a gift that God has given me. And really, just saw Him as my business partner instead of, just a God, right? So just seeing that way, like, kind of helped me see the future and how this could go and try and like develop that routine with God. So that's how that went professionally. Spiritually, um,
Hmm.
I was just developing my own disciplines even more. I started my walk in 2022, so still growing in Christ, but I think I matured for the last half of 2023, and I'm able to do the things that I'm doing now currently in 2024.
Okay. What's up? What's up? Okay. So, all right, but let's do that. Let's just do that little brief update, and then we'll circle back to big takeaways. Um,
Mm,
now, yo, appreciate you on that, Uju.
of course.
Yeah. I think for me, so the at the end of last year I turned 25. So I
Okay,
think
percent.
from since that point I've just been in a quarter life crisis in a way, like realizing that I'm old but young,
Mm,
um, and just also processing like how fast time is flying. And I don't know, I guess it's like once I turned 25, I started feeling like, am I running out of time, or like,
mm,
but I have so much time left. I don't know. And then also um realizing that I'm moving into like a different demographic, because like I'm no longer early 20 something anymore. Like now I'm like closer to 30, and that's,
you lost out. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know, it's like before I used to be like, yeah, I'm 20, I'm in the box of 21 to 25, and now I'm like
Right, right.
30 somethings now, and I'm like, okay, but no, it's cool. And then yeah, definitely a lot of changes personally. Like my grandmother was diagnosed with that dementia, so just kind of navigating how to like communicate with her. And yeah, that's just been like a whole process within itself. But yeah, now I'm here, and I feel like now things are like evening out, because I'm like just, I guess, adjusting to
Mhm.
everything, or just accepting of everything. And so now I'm just like just riding this wave, just seeing where it's going.
Right. Appreciate that, Niall. Yes. Riding the waves, baby. Shin.
I wish I had the memory like y'all because literally
Me
I'm like
too.
thinking
Oh,
like, what
no.
did I do last year?
Oh,
I really, I mean, age-wise, I turned 24.
okay.
No, 23. I turned 23. See, I don't
Oh,
even know. I turned
woo.
23. And I really think it was just a blur for me. I can't even think about anything specifically. I would pull up my laptop and look at my calendar, but I had to turn in my laptop because the battery isn't working. So I'm honestly kind of in a blur, but I do remember prepping for school.
Remember?
Like that was something that was pretty big. Yeah, it's just kind of like it happened. I don't
Right.
really know unless I pull up my calendar, but I'm grateful I'm here. I know it wasn't terrible. I think I was in a period where I'm just trying to kind of be grateful even for the little things. I know that I was super stressed out when I was applying for school and like numbers and stats, and that kind of freaks me out. But at the end of last year, I do remember going on a cruise to Mexico, and that was really fun. And it just kind of reminded me like there's so much to life than to be stressed out about things and
Literally.
spend time with family and stuff like that.
Sure.
And it really made me want to interact with people more, which is weird because I'm very introverted. But I was like, no, I kind of want to interact with people and just learn about different people. So, yeah.
I appreciate that.
Cool.
Great.
Yeah. Um, I'm in the same boat as Jen. Like I'm trying to
Oh,
remember, and I've had all this time. That's crazy. Um, I do remember a little bit about the end of the year. So I also took a cruise at the end of the year. Yeah. I took the cruise.
what was in
I
it?
did something different. I think my birthday's in January, so usually, you do the usual like dinner with friends and stuff like that. And this year, I just wanted to do something different. And so I decided I'm going to go on a cruise, and it was my longest one yet. It was 11 days. So yeah, it was crazy. So
I remember that. Yeah,
with cruises, like the first couple days, it's super hype. You're all around the
yeah.
ship. You're like excited for the islands, and then I mean, the longer it goes on, it's just like, oh, I could stay in today. Like I don't got to
Oh,
do
for real?
nothing. Oh, for real. Like you get like you're good with just chilling. And so to
Wow.
have 11 days, it was different because I guess an older version of me would have been like, get me off of this ship. But the newer version of me is more like, okay, let me transition from like, okay, I've had some fun at the beginning part of this trip. Let me rest now. Let me journal. Let me read on stuff like I haven't been able to read because I'm always busy. So that was actually very different transition into the age of 32. So that was last year a little bit, but I'm glad that it kind of created that space and I made the active choice to like just do something different. It's okay to like chill and do something different and relax.
For sure. Sure. Appreciate that, Shane. For sure.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for the updates, man. For me, let me see. Last year, the middle point, I started getting more involved with like AYP, the group that I work with, which is for those who might be listening who don't know, it's just like a young professional group, Christian. Um, and I was kind of like talking to somebody around that time, which was interesting. Uh, but definitely didn't last, right? It started to help me to like rethink about like um if I were to find myself in a connection like that, like how much I would want to endure, right? From someone that it's not rocking and like early, but then these other attributes and you're like, oh, I should stay here. But it's like no. Um so that was kind of interesting to go into the second half of the year. And I felt like I was trying to do things, I think subconsciously or not do things subconsciously, hoping that I would get these blessings from God and stuff. And the year it seemed good, like it seemed like it went good. But like I think towards the end and the beginning of this year, I felt like a deficit. I was like I don't feel like I have things I wanted, XYZ. But I think it ended okay. I think it was cool. I think this is the most calm I've been to go into a new year ever. I was like, yo, 2024 is here. It's gonna be the big 3-5, and yeah, and yeah. So I don't even remember. It's funny. It's like a mixture of you guys. Like the first two is like I kind of remember some stuff. The second two is like I don't really remember. It's like. Um, but it was dope still doing the podcast and stuff. I was thankful that I followed through on that to still keep the podcast going. So yeah. That was that. So well, 2024, we are here. Let's get into some dialogue about what's been the biggest takeaway, from this year. Like what's been that thing that's like, that lesson that you felt like you sat with, maybe was reoccurring, or that thing, that big thing that you're like, yo, okay, this is what these first 6 months were about. You know what I'm saying? And we'll do this popcorn. Anybody could take this bad boy.
I'm gonna
Shane is
just go first.
yeah,
Let me just go first
give me the head.
because I don't need nobody taking mine. So,
Oh,
so if I had to give it a word, maybe, I would say it would be open. Like just be
okay.
open. So like two words, be open. So I'm a person that enjoys comfort, like routine. I am a person that considers all options and all risks and factors before I do anything. Um, and this first 6 months was just like, no, be open. Um, and so with that, in January when I came back from the cruise, um, I think either within a week or two, I was transitioning to a new job or a new position at the job. It was going to be like my biggest move yet. I was going to a brand new campus where I really didn't know anybody. And I was really comfortable and actually happy where I was. Um, but, I felt like, okay, you know what, and actually, I wasn't even super going to go for what I went for. And some people started talking to me and like, hey, have you considered this? And I was like, no, like, I'm good, I'm good. And I think parts of that was, again, the comfort part, but then also I would be stepping in a territory where there were a lot of unknowns, not just with people, but even with like the job requirements. Like it was going to be a big learning curve for me. And I think the older we get, the more learning curves kind of intimidate us sometimes. I see it with like, definitely older adults as well. So, um, but I decided, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go for it, and if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And if it's not, then I was happy with staying, and so I ended up getting the position, and I was like, oh wow, it's about to get real. Thank you, thank you. It's about to get real, right? And so, um, it has been a learning curve, but I've learned so much in 6 months. Like I've learned about myself, I've learned about other people, I've learned about the job. Um, it's made me get to a place that if I already thought I was humble, I'm even more humble now because like I have to be willing, even at my position as a leader, to ask certain questions. And sometimes you can feel like, oh, I don't really want to ask this person, or I feel weird for asking questions. And I had to get over that hump of like, you know what, ask questions. And what I realized in this first 6 months about some of my questions is everybody else in the room have the same question, but they're all scared to ask the question.
Literally.
And so I've been getting to the place where I've realized that, and now I'm more comfortable than ever of having that dialogue of like, hey, let me ask this question because I realize none of y'all don't know it either. And when we find out the answer, we're all going to be better for knowing the answer. So I would say for the first 6 months, it's been an invaluable lesson of just being open to, wherever you're supposed to go. I guess open and ready. Biblical application I can instantly think of is like, the bridegroom coming and like half the wedding party is not ready and the
Yeah.
other half is ready. So like you just have to be in a position that you don't know when your opportunity or your time in life is going to come. And if you try to wait till the opportunity is there, it's too late. You just always got to be ready and open towards it.
Mm,
That
What
was
you just said, I heard it said best. Success is when opportunity meets preparation. So as
Yeah,
long as you're prepared, like you'll always be successful. That's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
good.
That's a word.
Yeah.
so there's not like you can't be open and be stagnant at the same time. What
Right.
I'm right. So you got to
You can
be
be open and still, but you can't be open and stagnant. Because
okay.
there's going to be
good.
times where it's not time to move yet,
Got
but
you.
you have to be in a position where when God says move, you got to move. And that's
Mm,
the difference.
got you. Okay. Okay. I hear that. I hear that.
Yeah.
being open.
You know what? Things are coming back to me about last year. I remember we were having words all over this chat last year. Like we were just like, "Ooh, that was good." Yeah, I
What is it? What
remember.
is it? What
This
is
this
it?
is the right group. This is the right group.
Wait, it came back. What came back?
No, I just remember like our dialogue last year when we
Yeah.
were talking. Like I feel like all of us were dropping gems that we were taking away from each
Oh,
other. Like I remember like these moments. So it's coming back.
Yeah, I remember specifically what you said, Shane, about no and like the value of your no prepares you for your yes or something like that. Like what you guys said, y'all really blessed me last year. I just,
You see, it's coming back, and look at that.
yeah,
Look at that. I finally said yes to something, and it's working
see, yes,
out. Yeah.
man.
yeah.
But yeah, that was a crazy conversation. Crazy, flying all around. So be open, man. Be open.
Mhm.
Receive that, man. Be open. What can hinder someone from not being open? Like, what hinders? I'm just thinking about that. Like, can you come at life without an openness? Like, what does that look like when you're not like open? I wonder.
I think it's fear
Mhm.
Mm,
and your past.
Hmm.
I
mm,
think when you get like so stuck in seeing things the same way, even if it's like different scenarios, you're just used to a pattern or you're used to something or this happened to me this way, so
right,
it
right,
makes you more reserved and hesitant.
right, right.
Mhm.
I was gonna say your traumas, like they
Yeah,
kind of
Yeah.
like perception is reality. So if I perceive something to be a way, then it's going to be that way for me until I develop a new mindset, right? So it's
mm,
to me, I might even be moving, which is the scary part sometimes, but I'm actually stagnant.
mm, I hear that.
Mhm.
I
That's
think like
crazy.
also fear of like letting go of something because I think
Mm.
to like move to another level, you do have to like let go of things from your past. And
Whew, so hard though.
some people are, yeah, a little bit too attached.
Yeah,
Sometimes we gotta be like a kid, you know, like a kid will run, they'll fall down, and they'll like brush it off, get up, and run again, you know. And it's like
Yeah.
sometimes as an adult, like something like that happens to us, and we'll never try something again.
right.
And so that's where sometimes we can take lessons even from kids. Like, of course, we have to learn from certain accidents, mistakes, or whatever, but it shouldn't get to a place where it just controls you. You have to be able to make decisions and not allow those things to make decisions for you.
I love that you mentioned that, Shane, because that just reminded me of like two places in the Bible where one, like Jesus is like encouraging the kids to come to him. And then also later in the Bible, it says like
Talk
when you're a child and when you're a man, like you put away like childish things.
Childish things, yeah.
So it's important to know the difference of like when to embrace being childlike and when to like put it aside. That was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
What
with
was it?
when he calls us to have to be like a child, to have that childlike mentality, and it's like seeing the world in almost like a pure with a pure set of eyes, like not letting what you see stop you from pursuing a thing, because sometimes like we'll look at ourselves. I don't think children have a perception of themselves either. Like we'll look at ourselves and let that be the factor of whether or not we're good for something versus going to our heavenly father and asking him about a thing and seeing what he thinks and letting him like pave the way for us. But we grow up with traumas, we grow up with just interactions with people that form the way we just move through life and like who we actually are. And I think that we let that get in the way of what we're supposed to be on earth. And like in that same way, it blocks other people from even experiencing Jesus like they're supposed to through us. So
Wow.
it's so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild. That you guys took it somewhere that like I might as well just segue into my biggest takeaway. So it's crazy. My biggest like takeaway for these last 6 months, I was gonna wait, but I was like, yo, this is wild. You guys just said it was to understand that I am a child, right?
Mhm.
Like I'm a child. Like it hit me like at maybe June-ish because I found myself in these like circles of like maybe doing the same things that I didn't want to do anymore, or things that maybe were like a shortcoming or whatever the case. And I heard someone say, well, we spiral upwards, right? Sometimes we spiral upwards, like we revisit some things, we got to get over it again, but we're still going up. We're still en route to where we're supposed to go. And that started to like plant something in me, like, okay, like, but man, like, why do I have to still like struggle with this, or like, why isn't this working out, or whatever? And I just something came to me, was like, yo, you're a child of God. And I was like, okay, but like what, like that's a phrase that's thrown around. I think it's something that I have definitely glossed over through the years. Like it was like, okay, you're a child of God. Like, but like what does it really mean? And my sister, oh, since we last touched base, my sister had a son, right? Shout out to, because she's
Hmm.
me, yeah, I'm an uncle, you know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because like I'm like with him, and it's just like, I can't like really say anything. His first language is crying, right? So he's speaking to me in that language. And I can't really say like, okay, like put a pause on it right now. Or like or just chill, or like fall back, or like I can't do that, and I don't really want to do that. I don't want to be like, hey, where's shut, I don't want to do that to him. I'm just trying to show him love, and it's just like this resounding love that just comes towards him. And I started to see myself. I felt like God was like, yo, that's how I want you to see yourself too. And I'm like, yo, this is wild. So like, he's like, what does it really mean to be a child? Like these thoughts started to come to me. It's like, oh snap, like there's just grace over you, there's love over you, like you're always attended to, your needs are met, like
Mhm.
like you're just hovered over by people. And I'm seeing a real object lesson with me holding my nephew. Like, yo, no matter what, like he's good. Even though he doesn't think he's good, like he's like, ah! You know what I'm saying? Like even though he's like, yo, it's crazy, and I'm like, yo, this is so nuts. Um, it helped me to really like give more grace to myself. It helped me to like give grace to others, because if we're all like children, and then there's this back and forth of like what Chin said, like sometimes when you become, you put away childish things, and I think that means like those things that are like maybe things that you've kind of outgrown, maybe like maybe it could be how you react to people and stuff like that, or whatever the case. But the way you are to receive yourself and receive others should always be like a child, right? And I was like, yo, because this is how God sees me, this is how God receives me. And I was like, yo, this is dope. And then I saw one time there's this scripture that was like you guys mentioned it. It was crazy that y'all said it when they were like hindering the kids from coming. He's like, yo, nah, let the kids come, because like such is the kingdom. Like these are the ones who possess the kingdom. I'm like, thanks. So you gotta have like a childlike flow to like have possession of the kingdom. And he said you won't enter unless you kind of flow it this way as well. And I'm like, yo, this is how did I like really miss this? Like these are some like serious implications for like my life. Like so like teach me what it's like to be like a child. And I've been like really sitting with that. So these last 6 months, my word, I think at the end of last year was like ascension, I think. Or for this year was ascension. But yo, there's hella how should I say? Um there's a lot of turbulence as the plane is ascending. Feel me? Like even as we ascend, there's so much turbulence that's there. And I think sometimes through the turbulence you're like, am I still really going where I'm supposed to go? So yeah, so that was like for me, it's like you're a child, yo, you're being carried. Like it's gonna get a little rocky. Um, but God's got me, And so that was what the 6 months for me was like, yo. So yeah.
That
I think
was
you're
really
the
cool.
story.
Yeah.
Say that again. What'd you
I
say?
think, well, Chin, you can go, and then
Oh no, all
Uju.
I was gonna say was that was really cool. Like how we were talking about kids, and you're like, oh my gosh, my revelation was about being
Yes.
childlike.
I was like, yo, they're really talking about this. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Shane. What were you about to say, Shane?
Yeah.
Um, no, I was like, I feel like your journey kind of describes a lot of people's stories, especially when it comes to like the turbulent times. Like it's almost like guaranteed that we're gonna have that. I recently, like on a trip. was on a plane with like a lot of turbulence.
Yes.
Um, and I
Oh,
guess because I travel a lot now, a
Yeah.
plane can like kind of shake and drop a little bit, and I don't really trip
You don't feel
over
it.
it. Like I'm still good. And when we landed, the group I was with, they're like, "Did you feel that? That was crazy!" Like, you know. um, and I think, like, even in that instance, it kind of shows that your experiences in life and how keeps you can kind of be your testimony, and also your experience will show like God's got you. Like it's nothing to worry about. Like, so for me, I'm just like almost like the boat with Jesus in it. I'm just like, oh, you know what? We're chilling.
Yeah.
that's a good
But it doesn't
story.
make it doesn't yeah. But it doesn't eliminate the turbulence always. It's just
Right.
like, trusting that
Nevertheless,
he
still
got you. Yeah.
that.
Right.
Wow, that was really good.
Was very good. You said a lot. You said something about just talking to your nephew. First
Yeah.
of all, saying my sister just had a kid too, so it's so funny that she said that.
Okay.
Yeah, like I was up in New York last week for to see my nephew, but yeah, just saying that all he's receiving is the resounding love,
Yeah.
even though like he's speaking to you and he's not able to comprehend you, but like he receives it as love still. And it's like how am I seeing God moving my world and moving my life, and how am I comprehending it? Like that's just what kind of like goes through my mind. Like how do I need to adapt how I see God? And I kind of like moved into my first half of the 6 months, but I don't know if anybody else had anything to say
Okay,
about
move in, move in. No
it.
one else had anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody else would.
You can move
Um,
in.
yeah, so like the first half of this year, where do I even
Wait,
start?
Uju, is your camera? I think. Hold on. I think it's
Are
your.
we good?
I think it could be. Is it me? Is it me or just is there your screen half? Oh no, maybe it's me. No,
I see her.
No, I
you
see her.
are good. Oh,
Yeah, it might be because it's all black.
it's me.
Yeah,
I think
at
it's
the
me.
bottom.
Bad. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's mine.
but yeah, so let's see. I don't even know where to start. I started off really good, business wise, but where do I start? I don't know. Oh.
Quick question.
uh,
Your business, and I think you said at the beginning, but it's the cooking one?
Yeah, it's the cooking
Okay,
business.
okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
So I guess I'll start with that. Like, I have seen God through my business and how he's really orchestrated some things that have happened. December, I had a photographer hit me up and asked me for basically if he could do my own headshots because he was like, yeah, I see your Instagram, but I don't know who you are. And I'm talking about this man, for me to ask him he would have charged me thousands of dollars, but because he asked me to do my headshots, I got it for free. I just gave him some food at the end, which led into a bartering system, how it should be, back in the day. Um, but yeah, so I had that happen. And because I had that happen, I had some guy reach out to do a partnership. He was establishing like this meal prep delivery service in Orlando. So it was like his startup. So he wanted me to be the chef for the website.
Oh damn.
So I was doing that every weekend. Yeah, for a couple months. It was a lot, but it taught me a lot of things about myself, how I could challenge myself and just how business can go. But outside of that, sheesh, I got baptized in March
Okay.
because
Hey.
yeah, I got baptized in March just because I feel like I need to stop playing with God.
Mm.
And but no, and just like really surrender everything. That's really what I mean. Like yes, he had my relationships, he had like certain avenues, but not all of me, right? So I just kind of came to the realization like, okay, I need to like surrender. And it was funny because before that process, I kind of felt like I was grieving something, which I now know is my old life, right? And my old, just my mindset, because in Christ I'm a new creation. So I had got baptized, and now I'm just kind of figuring out what God exactly wants from me. So I'm doing this Bible study that I've felt called to. And so I'm serving in leadership, spiritually, but also with that, because I'm pouring out, I needed to heighten how I allow God to pour into myself. because I would feel empty a lot of the time. So now I'm learning basically a new rhythm with God. Like, how does our relationship look like as me leading the people that you are calling to you, right? So I'm having to figure out what that looks like. And just even with my internship, I am still, establishing how God wants me to bring Jesus into the corporate world. Like, my whole thing is like, how am I really an ambassador of Christ, and how does that look like? So how do I like represent Jesus in a world where nobody's checking for God, nobody's checking to see where is Jesus? So like how can I be a reflection of Him? So I'm really learning more about myself in that way. I'm learning just how God wants me, and I had 3 words for 2024. They were stewardship, focus, and intentionality. So just being a better steward over everything. Colossians, I believe it's chapter 3. Basically, do everything that you do in word or deed. Do it as if you're doing it unto Christ Jesus. I do it as if I'm working for God and not for man. So yes, I'm going into my internship, and yes, I'm going into even my relationships and just different areas of my life. But I'm not really doing it for the people that are horizontal. I'm doing it for the God that is, higher and overseeing all of this. So I'm just really changing how I see God in my life. And yeah, that's been the main thing. Just establishing a new rhythm, really, and letting Him flow in that and catching Him where He is, basically. Yeah.
I like that. I like that. That
Yeah.
scripture I haven't heard in a while, honestly. And I think
Um,
that's a very bold one, like in everything. Kind of thinking about
everything.
like doing it to God.
Mm.
When you kind of make that type of declaration, he'll reveal certain things of like, you sure about that? And it's just like, it's like the things you don't think
Right.
about, word, thought,
Yeah.
deed, all that type of stuff. But I think
Yeah.
I think he'll honor that for you for sure. And you'll see yourself in a place that you've never experienced before because of your boldness with that.
Oh, wow. Thank you for that. Yeah, and even to testify to that, I feel like I'm already on that route because I find myself now getting frustrated with so many things that I'm doing. Nothing has changed. It's just like God is making me see a higher level of, or He's giving me access into a higher thing when I'm not there yet. So that gap is the frustration part. So
Yeah.
now it's like, okay, God, what do I need to do? Where do I need to go? And how do I steward what I have now to get me there? Right? Because to whom little is well, if he'll make you
She'll,
ruler over the few to, y'all know that verse.
I know what you're
If he
saying.
trusts you with the few, he'll make you ruler
Yeah.
over much.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what I'm battling right now.
That's dope. Just
Yeah.
so commend you for just making that public declaration of the inward transformation, right? As
Mhm.
they say,
Yeah.
which is dope. Just want to, throw some love your way on that, man. Like, I think, after baptism, I know I had a distorted view of like things. I'm not saying you do, of like thinking that and I know this is not your case, like thinking that everything is supposed to like go this way now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that it just divorces me from like some like real life struggles and issues, um,
Mm-hmm.
which come, and just know, man, give yourself that like grace and love, like, as you go forward. And I think you do that already, but just continue to do that, because that road, you're taking on a lot. You said the business, the
Yeah.
internship, like, and you got the Bible study, like, that's a lot, which can be heavy, but just continue to lean on God, like, through it
Mm-hmm.
all. You know what I'm saying? um,
Yeah, thank
that's
you.
dope. That's really dope. Really dope.
Yeah, thank you for the words. Thank you. Yeah, like you said, after baptism, I really experienced the opposite. Like, I just got everything flipped over.
Oh,
That warfare is real after baptism. So yeah, I'm just grateful to have the community from the Bible study. Like, God knew what He was doing with that. God knew.
what's up? Thank you for sharing, Drew. I think we got two
Anybody else?
left. It looks like we got
Mhm.
Chin and Nayo. Who's gonna take it? Who's gonna take it? Looks like Chin is
Hello.
Nayo. There we go.
I feel like this year kind of has been a blur. I'm not gonna lie. It feels like since January I've just been like running,
Mm,
just
hey,
running. But
a raise.
If I were to give it a word, I would say, all right, like the biggest realization that I had definitely was related to like freedom and
Hmm.
liberation. I've just been like spending a lot of time looking back at like how Black people were treated in like, 50
Ooh.
years before now, like 100 years before now, and especially with the
Hmm.
whole Tyler thing, looking into like South Africa and so it's just been
Wait,
interesting
wait,
how
wait. The whole Tyler thing. What you mean? Talking about the
with,
colored?
yeah, the whole colored and being
Oh,
Black.
that started becoming something. I knew
Yeah.
that was gonna hit. Like I knew. I don't want to take the spot, but I had a feeling that that was going to because I remember some years ago when I was living in I met some people from South Africa and we
Mhm.
started to rock with that whole thing and I was like, okay. So it's interesting. So that became something. I didn't know
It
that.
did.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's still ongoing, man. I don't know. But that's another conversation.
Yeah,
But
the
yeah,
after,
I just
that's
wanted
after.
to just
Yeah.
like really think about how like throughout the years Black people have been like treated by society when it comes to like what we can do. Like in like South Africa, like they had to, if you were Black, you had to like have like a card if you wanted to go to the next town or whatever. And so like
Mm-hmm.
you just were as a Black person we're just like very limited to what you can do. And so now flash forward to now where I can do anything, just like really pushing myself to really do it all for the sake of my ancestors. But yeah, I would say that's the biggest thing. Now that I've been here for a year, like now I know where I'm at. I know all the trains and stuff. If anyone visits, I can take them anywhere where like a year ago I like barely knew where I was at. And now I think that makes things better when it comes to like networking and making friends. Um, and what's cool about here is like you do kind of end up meeting celebrities. Like I mentioned, I met Jonathan Majors and like Billy Porter, and I think it's inspiring being able to like be in the same room as those people and like seeing also like they're definitely humble in real life, which is crazy thinking about what all of they've done within their career and like to be in the same room within them and seeing them like just I met Mark Zuckerberg actually, like he's like super chill. And so I think
Mm.
I think being in that space and like sharing the same room with those people definitely helped expand what I want to do and what I want to accomplish. And yeah, that's it.
That's awesome. I
Cool.
wanted to ask you, Naomi, do you still do DJing?
I do so right now.
Yeah.
Um, so I DJ for the city cruises. There's like
Oh, that's weird.
cruises
That's
that go out and they go to the Statue of Liberty, and so I've been
Wow.
doing
dope.
that.
That's dope.
Yeah.
But I want to do, of course, like put out my own brand because I'm still under city cruises. So, but yeah, the goal definitely is to have like my own like music and perform and do more like Instagram content and stuff like that. But yeah, it's baby
That's
steps. Baby
dope.
steps.
Right.
That's so cool. I haven't been on social media, so I don't really, I feel so displugged. So I wanted to ask
Yeah,
you, because I'm like, yeah, it's a funny story. Like, I just had a bad interaction with a friend, and I don't have any bad feelings with my friend, but I just felt like they were like monitoring me on social
Oh my
media,
god.
so I just had to like step away from that. But I haven't missed it, honestly. Like I do miss the little things like, oh, how's Naomi's DJing, or how's so and so, and how's this, but I just don't miss being on there. But I do want to make sure I ask like, hey, how's this going?
yeah. I think that's another thing too that I realized this year is like just laying off of social media.
Mhm.
Because I think being too heavy on it, you're like putting a lot of focus in other people's lives, and like I feel like that same exact time that you're focusing on other people, you could kind of focus it on yourself and like build
Mhm.
your own dreams, build your own reels or highlights and things like that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
I agree. That's definitely
Mhm.
something I feel like I found myself doing recently. I especially with this first 6 months, I've been like challenging myself. And I've been reading the Bible more. I've been praying more. I'm just really grateful because it's giving me a lot of peace. And I feel like I inadvertently would look for it through other things, like whether it be on social media or whether it be from like certain activities. But it really is like the best when it comes from God because, like, the world, it's like that meme where this dog is like sitting and everywhere is like in fire. And I kind of feel like that sometimes where I'm like, things around me could be going badly, but I'm like, ah, I'm so
Yes.
good. God's got me, I'm just going to continue trusting.
Yeah.
So that's been like really refreshing these past six months.
Yeah, that's literally what they talk about in the Bible, like he doesn't promise that we're not going to go through suffering, but
Mm.
the promise is that you'll go through it with him if you draw near to him, so that peace that surpasses all understanding that has people look at you and ask you like, how did you do that? How did you do that? Or how are you acting this calm? And you're just like, it's God. And it's another phrase that everybody throws around, but like when you really get your peace and really get your identity from him, it's easy to say that. So one,
Yeah.
I'm proud of you for, being in your word, sticking
Thank
to the
you.
disciplines because life doesn't make it any easier to do that, right? The whole purpose of being on this world, well, what is it called? The plan that the enemy has while we're on this world is to distract us from the disciplines that keep us to God. So staying in that, like you're literally winning the war day by day. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Wow.
it's good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Social media is crazy.
yeah.
It is.
Wow,
But
wow.
I will say, like on the devil's advocate side for social media, I do have TikTok, and I remember last year I was like, I would never download that, da da da. But I'm on it. But I found so many Christian TikTokers that
Hmm.
they're so inspiring, honestly, because
Yeah.
they'll like open up their Bible and be like, let's read together.
Right.
And
Hmm.
that has helped me a lot. So, yeah, social media definitely crazy. Definitely got off all my other apps. But I don't know, TikTok has been helping me, at least the ones that like actually like open it, not like, oh, I was reading something. No, like they'll have it right in front of them
Yeah, I know. I
and
know
read it with
exactly
me.
what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's funny
Yeah.
that you bring that up because I've had a similar experience with TikTok, and I guess not to make that a tangent, but I think it's also the power of what maybe the devil can also make mean for evil, God can turn around for good. And so, like social
Mm.
media, for so many people are distractions, and there's some crazy things on TikTok, but there is a Bible and a Christian side of TikTok that I've never
Yeah.
seen on any other social media. And so,
Yes.
Yeah.
I've realized and I found like you
Mm.
said, there's people doing whole lives on like with Bible study, and there's like hundreds or sometimes thousands of people in our age
Mm.
group like in there. And I remember after one of them, I ended up, I think they were like, "Oh, we're gonna make a community on like group me." I was like, "Man, I haven't used group me since college. Like this is crazy." And they have different things. They have like a men's, so it's similar to AYP.
Yeah.
Honestly, they have a men's group, a women's group. They have like a travel group, stuff like that. But then they
Yeah.
also made like Bible study plans. And so like ever since then, I think beginning of the year, like I started one Bible study plan with them and like they've kept it going. And like to this day,
Wow.
every couple of weeks I get an invite of like, oh, this person, which is the host, is inviting you to the Bible study. And I'm like, wow, like this is crazy that people have found a way to connect on TikTok and use it that way.
That's beautiful.
So good.
I feel like that kind of goes into like dominion in a way of like viewing, I don't know the scripture, but it's like everything on earth is, you're not of this planet, like everything of this earth
Mhm.
is like a tool for you to use. And so like
Mhm.
you can let TikTok, be a distraction and you're like just on auto loop scrolling, or you can like use it as a tool to like connect
Yeah.
you with an
Mm.
audience or community or whatever.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's true. So,
It's so true.
thank y'all for dropping that, man. The 6 months, Naomi and Chin just dropped it on us at the end. I did have a question for both of you. Like with Naomi, what have you seen from like you said you've been doing some reflection on like into Black people and what their struggles were. Like, what have you kind of landed on? Like, have you landed on that? Okay, in this day and age, it's not it's not the same. It's similar, or it is the same. It just looks different, or it's not the same at all. And then for Chin, I wanted to see like as you've been like, reading and praying more, like what has that experience just kind of like been like for you, and where do you see yourself going, with that now, with that new kind of development that the new diving that's been going on, you know what I'm saying? Kind of curious
Mhm.
for y'all to hit on that,
I'll
so
let Chin go first.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. It's crazy because I feel like my journey really started when Will invited me to growth groups, which are basically like Bible studies.
right.
And I've been going, and I go to one now on Wednesdays, and there's a lady there who's an attorney now in Texas, and she was like, "Hey," she was just telling everybody
Oh,
like,
you
"We
used to
do
go to
these."
the same for Lighthouse. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, I still
Oh,
go.
that's
And they've
dope.
been really nice. And one
Oh,
of the ladies there, she was like, "Yeah, we have these like women prayer groups." And I was like, "Let me join." And I've been joining that like faithfully every morning for like the past month, 2 months now. And it's so crazy because I remember my mom would do prayer calls, and I'd be like, I could never do that.
right.
That's like what it's like what older people do. And now I do it every morning, and I feel weird if I don't join.
Mm,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's just been like finding my relationship with God that works for me. I think
Hmm.
I would see how other people would do it, and I'd be like, it's not really for me. I can't really see myself doing it. But once I find something that I could do and that helps me strengthen my relationship, it's just been great. I've also been doing stuff physically as well, like just to keep my temple pure. Like I got a purity ring recently, and it's been really exciting. I've been running more, so I've been active. Like I got an everyday Bible, so it helps me read the Bible every day. Like just incorporating little things in my life. But I would say future wise, I hope to get baptized. I was baptized as a baby, but I want to do like an adult one.
sure.
I'm just trying to figure out when and timing for that, and just continuing to put myself in spaces that would make me more comfortable talking about God, because I think it's one thing to develop yourself, and then after that, like, you have to go and make disciples. And I noticed that's something I'm scared of. I'm scared of like talking to people just because I feel like I always see a hostility when it comes to spreading the news. And some people I
Hmm.
understand. You might have had trauma, you might just not like certain things.
Hmm.
And I don't know why I take it so personally, and I just want to grow in my faith to where I'm like, I don't really care how you receive it as long as I present it in love and it's what my
Yes.
like the best interest and heart for you. That's kind of
Yeah.
where I hope to grow from there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And it's a
Yeah.
seed, it's like it's not up to us on like the timing. I
Yeah.
mean, like
Mhm.
our timing and then where we like who's been baptized recently, you're thinking about you're taking uh your next step with God, but like it all happened at a different time, not a particular age. And so same thing with when we're sharing, we just have to have that same type of patience for people and understanding that, what, even if I feel inspired to share this, you might not accept it right now, but you never know if like a year from now, like they'll be able to look back and be like, what, I'm so glad Chin like said this to me because like I remember that. And so don't like let that be your encouragement
Mhm.
of being brave to do that. They might not receive it the best way at first, but you never know when it's gonna come around and be useful in their life.
Thank
Yeah.
you. That's very
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
That's so true. Like everything that you give to somebody, like the seed, but you're always giving a seed or you're watering a seed that's already there. So it's like you're just watering the seed. God says in the word, like he uses names, but I forgot who. But like who this person comes to plant the seed, the next person comes to water the seed, but only God can make it grow. So just I think that's the encouragement too, just to add to what Shane said, like knowing that it's going to grow and that it's not in vain, right? So if you're brought to a person to give them a word, like just trust in that moment that the Holy Spirit is speaking through you, that God, something that I always do during not baptism, Bible study, that kind of like helped me calm my nerves is I came to understanding like I can say whatever I want to say, but it's not until I trust the Holy Spirit to deliver it the way that the person needs it is when it really like helps me like with my nerves. So I could say something completely different than what another person heard, but that's what they took, right? So like that
Mm-hmm.
gap between what I think and what actually happens, I just allow God to move. And I think he's already doing that through you, you know. And yeah, I just want to encourage you and even want to speak on the disciplines that you're already doing, like getting the Bible and doing the things for yourself. Like this walk isn't easy, right? So if there is any point where you feel like you haven't grown or like you want to slack off, you start to fall back on the disciplines and you're like, oh, well, I got this Bible. Like I bought it for a reason. So I have to read it eventually. Or like you're part of a community and then the community starts to reach out to you, you know? So it's like you're literally fortifying yourself in your faith, even when it doesn't feel like it. Like every step is towards like, you know, the next thing that God has for you. So just keep going, girl.
Thank
Just
you.
keep
Uh,
going. Yeah.
and I'm excited to hear that, Jen, because I remember when you started going to those.
Yeah.
I popped in every now and then. But yeah, that's what's up, and I think that there's this verse that I've been like that's been resonating with me lately about. I don't remember where it's at, but it's basically I think it's John. But we can't really get plucked out of his hands, right? You know,
Mm-hmm.
like no matter what, like we start going where what you know, but we're there, and it's just dope that like that we're that you're in his hand. You know what I'm saying? And that he's just keeping you there and adding more to to what was started, the seed that was even planted in you. Hey, just a
Mm-hmm.
invite. It was an invite,
Mhm.
right? And then like
Yeah.
God, that's sometimes all God needs is an invite, yo. Like if
Yeah.
even if like we invite somebody to something, like even if you just want to show somebody love on something, like yo, you invite someone to get a coffee, or you invite someone to get a drink, or to a small group, or you know to the park. Like just these invites are major, you know. And now you're about to go and like be a crazy influence and you know think soul. I would say soul winner for the kingdom, which is dope because you're
Mm-hmm.
you know, discipling and then like that's really awesome to hear that. Man, praise God. Like it just shows
Mm-hmm.
God, you know, and like
Yeah.
you know what he does in our lives, man. So I want to encourage you in that as well, yo. Like keep pushing forward. And there's no rush on the baptism, you know what I'm saying? Like, because there's no rush on that, or like there's no like benchmarks to hit. It's just like, yo, you and God flowing it through. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's the dopest part about it.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, it's cool. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. All right. We black or not? We black or not? What's up? What's up?
At this point, I don't know. I guess to answer your question, you're asking like if it's better now or if it's the
No,
same.
like yeah. What are some of the landings that you have kind of found yourself to realize? Because as you're going through that stuff, I know I think maybe it's hit you in a certain way. It's wrestled with you. You might see it now like, oh wow, we advanced, or oh wow, it's like the same. It's different since the legislation, since like you know all these different things. You know, how do I feel towards stuff? You know, just curious
Yeah,
to see where some of that has kind of landed you, especially being in a place like New York, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mhm.
where you're coming across a lot of different people, and you have, I think, a deeper eye into society than maybe like a place like Florida. It's more active. It's like a lot's happening. You know, you might
yeah,
feel things a lot harder, deeper, faster. You know, so
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I guess like from a slight, I almost like fell off my chair. From a slight political,
I don't got no
from
insurance.
a slight political view, like I do think that Black people, we are freer. We're not we can purchase homes, get vehicles. We're not limited to where we have to be at certain times. I think on that level, things are better. But I do feel that a lot of like what happened does have like psychological effects that I think we're still processing and like healing from. And I think, everyone's kind of navigating it individually or personally. And I think um, for me, like I realized how like sometimes I do hold myself back, and it's like no, like this is the time to like express yourself. But so I guess like trying to process, well, why am I holding myself back? And I think it kind of does have to do a lot with like just being quieted and you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that but I think that's kind of just a part of like the purpose. I think another thing too is just like feeling more honored to be Black, to be a part of that movement that's like plowing forward. And it's just like I'm just kind of like thankful to be like one of like the warriors that's like helping this generation get one step forward with like the Black liberation movement, if you want to look at it that way. But with like the whole New York thing, I think it's so fascinating because like literally every single culture is out here. And like there's so many types of blacks everywhere, man. Like blacks that speak Spanish. But no, like I'm seeing like Arabic people, black people
Arabic
that
Black.
speak Arab or black Arab. But yeah, like Senegalese people, South Africans, like literally everywhere. And I think it's just so fascinating because um, you get to see like just how like diverse we are. And I find that to just be so interesting because like a lot of white people do view us as like a monolith, or like, they wouldn't assume that a black person would speak Spanish naturally, and that, and so and that we show up in so many different ways. Like I see black people wearing hijabs and all types of stuff, and I'm just like amazed. And it just makes me more happy that I'm just part of this whole blob. And
That's good.
Yeah.
So I want to say something to that. That's very
Huh.
interesting. And we know New York is like that. And when I went to Cali, I was like, oh, California is like that too, especially like LA. I feel like it's a place that's like a melting pot too. But um, with the whole Beyonce album being, country and stuff like that, and that had its whole situation. And one of my friends recently told me they're like, country originated with black people. I'm like,
Right.
oh, it didn't. And like when I researched it, and I was like, oh, like it did. And it's just like it's crazy how many things that we just don't even know are innately like from black people, but because of opportunity or whatever it is, it really hasn't been able to maybe progress the same way that it has for other cultures and people. So um, it's very interesting to, I guess, be enlightened about it more and more. Um, and I think like that's where the knowledge is power piece. So like it's really good that you're stepping into that space and you're even able to share it like you are, because I think get the conversation started, and with conversations comes questions, discovery, and then like sometimes that's what's needed for chains to be like broken. So it's really cool.
yeah, especially with like black knowledge. I know with like Florida and Ron DeSantis, he's trying to restrict what's being taught and shared about the past.
Trying to put the clamps,
Yeah.
trying to put the clamps on it. Well, thank you for that, Ayo. Appreciate it, man. So, man, we are here. We are here at this middle point. This has been good. Like the first 6 months, we've kind of cooked it up. We're gonna jump into now. What are we looking for over the next 6 months? I think last year we did a one word. Did we do one word or no? I don't. I
I
think
think so.
I
I think
think
so,
so.
right?
Yeah.
So like we can do one word and some more. Like what these next 6 months, man, what are we looking for? Where are we trying to go? Like, because it's a lot of us have said um some real dope things, and it's like, man, we've had like a lot. These last 6 months have been a lot for each of us. So where are we going from here, or where do we want to go from here, right? Who would like to kick us off first on this leg, and then we'll land the plane after this segment. You know,
I guess I'll go first.
all right? Yeah.
Trying to take more initiative. But yeah, so I guess my word is, it's gonna sound very broad. It's the growth. But I want to be more intentional with the areas that I focus the growth in.
Mhm.
I have recently, I didn't read the book, but there's a guy who wrote a book called The 5 a.m. Club.
Huh.
And I,
Mhm.
yeah, and I watched a podcast he was on, and this
Eric
isn't
Thomas?
exactly it. What was that?
Is it Eric Thomas or no?
No, it's something Shawarma. I want to say like Robert Shawarma or something like
Oh,
that.
okay.
But basically, his whole idea is, in order to get the most out of your day, you have to wake up early, right? But also, like, just what do you do in those minutes that you wake up early? He has something called the 20 20 20.
Mm,
20 minutes of exercise, 20 minutes of learning a new thing, and 20 minutes of something that's like mind stimulating, whether that's reading or I don't know, taking a walk, or I don't know what that is, but I haven't read the book. But yeah, so just, going about it like that, like focusing on mind, spirit and body. Like I wake up and I I'm so, like I was saying earlier, like I'm frustrated. Like I know I'm not supposed to be this tired. It's only 10 a.m. Like why am I tired? Like I'm asking myself like the whys on a lot of things. And so I realized like some things need to change. I'm picking up new health habits, new spiritual disciplines. I want to read more. I want to just know more, right? Because there are places that I know I want to go, and what brought me here is not going to take me there, right? So just getting new habits and becoming the person. There's a thing called become, do, have. Like you become the person that does the things, that has the things. So it's not like, oh,
Mm.
I want X. You can say I want a car, right? Okay, become the person who does the things that can have the car. So become the disciplined person, do the hard things, take the cold showers, do the things that get you out your comfort zone, so that, I'm not saying I'm taking cold showers, I'm just saying, not me personally, but yeah, do the things that are outside of you, right, to grow you. So that's what I'm focusing on.
Mm.
very
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a
Yeah.
good one. That morning thing is a struggle.
It is.
It is a very big struggle. But the
It,
times that I have done it, I could definitely tell the difference. It's just
exactly.
that to push myself to be consistent for it
Hmm.
for quote unquote no reason. Like I'm going to the airport. Yeah, I'm no problem. I'm waking up.
you going, you
And
Right.
for those, for the days I have to go to work early, like I'll do it, and I'll be like, oh, I got a lot of stuff done today. But
Yeah.
just to convince myself of like, oh, you like the results of this, but you're not willing to have the discipline to do it. So then now I'm going to miss out on certain things because of my choice and lack of discipline.
Right.
So yeah, more power to you for these next
Give
six
me all
months.
of it. I
You
need
got it. You
motivation.
got it.
Yeah, honestly, it's tough for me to wake up
It
early. I think
is.
the only times I wake up early are for my runs, and I feel great after them, but they're like
Mhm.
once a week. I'm like, all right.
Hey,
Real.
it's something. It's
It's
something.
better than me.
That's
Yeah,
true.
it's
Yeah.
That's true.
something.
Yeah.
Nice. I've
I'll
noticed.
say this to you too. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Now I was gonna say I noticed that like when I would have those routines like early,
Hmm.
and like when I was in that like mode, man, it was some of the best like most productive times. Like I just
Right.
getting up, this, and it was such a blessing. So like yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
man, do it, do it, do
Yeah.
it.
Ah, thank you. Who wants to join me?
I'll join you next year. Next
So
year.
rough.
Next year? I
Next
got you.
talk, next talk.
I got you.
what were you about to say
Well,
though,
I was
Shane?
gonna say I'm not on the side of things with like the early part yet, but what I
Hmm.
do is, for example, um, sometimes I come home from work and I have things to do. Like I also have a business, so
Hmm.
going
Thank
from
you for
work
sharing.
to business, it's just like, wow, I feel like I'm working all day long. And so what I've noticed is that sometimes I guess I use a nap as like my relaxation, my disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would say certain things like, oh, okay, I'm going to take a nap. And whenever I get up, like I'll start working on this thing. But then like I'll take my nap and I'll lounge and then I'll like get
Hmm.
on TikTok or whatever. And then by the time I look, I'm like, oh, like I've wasted so much time. Now I don't have that
Yeah.
much. And so what I've done is I've basically said to myself, all right, if I give myself this nap, one, I'm setting an alarm. As soon as like the
Mhm.
alarm goes off, I'm getting up. Like no excuses. Like I
Mhm.
don't care if I don't feel like it because this is the agreement I made that okay, I want a little bit of a break. Okay, I'm getting my
Mhm.
break, but then after that, I'm a grind and like I'm gonna take whatever time it takes. And if I
Yeah.
choose to do the opposite of skipping my nap, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna grind it out so I can get done early, so I can go to sleep
Mhm.
early, you know? But it's kind of like there's ways to even discipline yourself outside of just the early part. Because some mornings you might not
Right.
do it,
Ooh.
but you know, there's
Ooh.
other ways where you don't have to say like, oh, I missed my morning, let's try again tomorrow. Like it could be certain things of like, all
That's
right,
me.
I missed this morning, but I'm gonna make up for it today, you know? So
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like that. I'm
Like
definitely gonna
that
try to
too.
implement that part because I am, I am guilty of lounging and being on TikTok and being like, oh,
Mm.
it's 9, let me shower. Oh, it's 10, let me go to bed.
Right,
So
right, right,
yeah.
right.
No, I feel you on that part.
Thank you, Ju.
Hmm.
Man, we're gonna be right there with you, girl. Even if we sleeping and
In
you know,
spirit.
we
In
there.
spirit.
In
You know?
spirit.
But now we encourage you for that, man. It's gonna be a super
Uh-huh.
productive rest of the year
Mhm.
for you, man. You know. So yeah, right. Who's got us on the next? Looks like we lost Naomi for a little bit, but we'll hopefully she
Yeah.
can make it.
Trying to go. For this next half, I guess connecting to openness is just being,
Mm,
I guess, bold maybe in this next part.
okay.
Um, Again, it's kind of like undoing some of the parts of me that even though I've worked on being open, there's still parts of me that's just like evaluates everything. And because of that, there's parts that is still timid in a sense. And so like now that I'm attempting to be more open, I also want to be able to confidently walk forward. Um,
Mhm.
and so that's what I want to really, really do in this next 6 months, or we're however many months we have left. But yeah, this
Right.
next part of the year, I want to just walk boldly with whatever direction God sends me.
Mm.
Glad
That's
you're
really
happy.
good.
It's good. It's the intention. You got the intention.
Yeah.
So I
Intention,
don't
yeah.
doubt that you'll be able to do that. Mhm.
Thank you, thank you. I need that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look back and be like, no, Uju said that. She said, I got this. I got this.
You got it. And lock in, lock in.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. Boldly. We gotta be encouraging each other, Hey, have we
Yes.
got into our, maybe in the mid October, November. So, what I'm saying? Walking boldly
Yeah.
into it. All right, we appreciate that, Shane. Thank you. Chin, hit us.
Yeah. This isn't the word one, right? Or is it the word one?
Yeah, you could float with the word, or or even you could word or just what you're looking for.
Okay. I think my word is challenge.
Challenge.
And I want to challenge myself. And I think that's something that I've been doing like spiritually a lot this first half. Oh, Naomi's back.
Hey,
Hey, girl. Yeah, I've been challenging myself a lot spiritually, and then it started a little bit in June and then it's bleeding into July. I've been challenging myself also like physically and also with learning new languages. So I'm
Mm.
right now
oh,
reteaching and relearning Spanish, and then I'm learning my native language, Igbo.
Yes.
So that's been really fun because I'm like taking it seriously. Like I started paying for tutors.
oh, are serious with
And it's been really fun, but it's crazy because if you would have told me like a year ago that I was gonna do this, I would look at you crazy. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
that. That's why.
I never like challenging myself that way. And I
Mm.
remember sometimes right before like my Spanish class would start, I'd be like, God, please help me get through this class because I just get so like scared of things that are hard for me, but I kind of like it because then at the end I'm like, I did it. I'm gonna keep practicing and keep working on it instead of in the past I'd kind of like shy away from that. So I just hope that I continue to challenge myself and know that I can trust God to lead me through and also like put in the extra work because I think that's another thing I would be kind of hesitant about. I'd be like, ugh, this is going to take me so much longer, and I would feel like I'm a slow learner. But now it's like I don't know like why that hindered me before. Like just put into work, and then later on in life, and being patient things will come to fruition. So I want to keep challenging myself.
Word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Chin, you're gonna have to send me those Igbo tutors because I need to get on my Zoom.
I
I've been
got
Oh,
you. And it's not
yeah.
that expensive either.
Is it? Okay,
Yeah,
we
the tutor I
I'm
got,
yeah.
she's like $8 an hour, and I do like an hour
dude.
a week.
Wait.
Oh,
Eight.
$8
Oh,
an
wow.
hour.
Hey, that's below minimum. Okay.
That's what
Well,
that's what
she's
I'm
not
saying.
here. She's based in
Oh,
Nigeria.
Oh,
oh,
okay, okay. She said she
And
that
not
makes a
they
lot of sense. Yeah.
and she picked her own rate because she wanted to be more affordable for students.
Oh,
yeah, like
Yeah.
1,000
that's
students.
nice.
Like, that's what's up. That's
Yeah.
that's really
Yeah, no,
cool.
$8 over there, that's enough to get them like,
It's a
yeah,
lot over
it's a
there.
lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot over
$8?
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's enough to get them maybe a couple days, like for the
Yeah.
week. Yeah.
Wow. And
And
I'm
she has a lot of students too, so it like helps her out a lot.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Let me go support her. Send me her info.
Yes.
Support
was
her
this
and help myself out.
yeah, how'd you find her? Like was it through like a platform or was it like
Yes, I use Preply and they have a whole bunch of
Mhm.
subjects on there.
prep?
And a lot of them don't really like a lot of the big like tutoring companies or just language learning, they don't really have African languages. So when I saw Igbo on there, I was like, oh my gosh, I need this. And then I love it because you get to pick the tutor and they pick their own prices, their own schedule and everything. So
Wow.
it's very individual to what you want,
Yeah.
and they all have like an intro video, and her video was like the cutest little
Mhm.
thing. It made me feel like my aunt was teaching me, and I was like, yep, I'm gonna book with her. And I've loved
Yo.
every class. Like
Mhm.
even before I got on this call, I was practicing my numbers in Evo.
Aw.
So it's like
Say
really
something to
fun.
us.
Yeah. Yo, she got
On the spot.
Scott.
Okay, so how
Yeah.
do you say hi, how are you? Keruka Imere. Although I grew up knowing that one.
Yeah.
You can't
Something
get
that
rid of that.
I'm learning my numbers. And it's interesting because in Igbo there's central, so there's a lot of Igbo speaking states.
Mhm.
And then there's towns as well, but then there's Anambra, which is my state specifically. And we say things a little bit differently than the central does. So I'm like
Mhm.
learning the differences, which isn't much, but it's really cool to see culturally like our language, and Igbo is also very tonal, so the
Yeah.
pronunciations are so important. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
It's ridiculous how tonal it is. Like
Yes.
you'll have three, yeah, I can't even get into it because I can't do it. But yeah, no, that's kudos to you for even going and taking on that task because Igbo is not easy at all. But
Yeah.
it's definitely, language is so important to keep a culture going. So it's hard to lose that and still feel like, at least for me, it's hard to lose that completely. Like if I didn't have my parents here, I would feel a little bit um detached from the culture itself. Like I'd feel like a fraud almost. But yeah, but that's just me. That's just me. But yeah.
Yeah, I think also traveling, and I love traveling, and it made me want to learn languages.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
You cut out, but yeah.
Okay, sorry. I think it's fixed, but what was I saying? Oh yeah, I like was traveling recently this year. Oh, did it lose it?
No,
No, we used to
I'm
hear you.
searching like I'm looking at the different like I just was stuck on Preply for a second. I'm like looking at it.
Oh yeah, it's so nice.
I know, but yeah.
Yeah, but I was like, I traveled a lot this year. I actually went back to Nigeria in June too. And it just made me realize, and I went to Houston and I was speaking a little bit of Spanish, and it made me realize, like, no, I really want to pick this up and be able to communicate with different people. So it's been a fun little challenge.
Nice, nice
Yeah.
challenge. All right, appreciate you.
I love
I'm taking like a little bit of everybody's like
that.
like real talk. Well, not you.
We're going into the next 6 months, right? We're excited
Yeah, like
for.
what you looking
Um,
for?
yeah, I could definitely relate with Chin on learning languages. I find that to be so fascinating. Like being able to like make jokes and like express yourself in a whole other language. So I've been trying to learn Dutch because my family they're Guyanese and next door is Suriname, which is Dutch Guyana, and so I'm going for the first time next month actually. So I just wanted
Mm.
to
That's
be able
wow,
to kind
yo.
of like
That's
navigate just a little
inspiring.
bit. But yeah, I think I'm most excited to like create more, do more like photography stuff and more like music stuff. And then of
Have
course
fun,
Guyana.
girl.
Hey,
Do you currently take pictures right now? Are you practicing photography?
More more so in the sense of like I won't be taking the pictures, I'll be like the model, but more
oh,
so
Mm,
like just
okay.
creative direction. Like I
I
have
can
like a
see
lot
that.
of
Mhm.
creative ideas.
Yes.
Oh wow. Yeah, I feel like everybody needs to have their own creative outlet. I used to always say I'm not creative until I found my creative outlet through the kitchen, but it definitely helps in n- helping you like feel like yourself almost. I don't know if you resonate with that part, but I feel more of me and more of like feel more useful almost in a way, not to attach myself to that identity, but just it's a way for me to give back also, through my creativity. So that's good that you have a creative outlet, yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like I definitely want to push myself creatively to do things that are a little bit more like unconventional and like more odd. Because I do
Mhm.
feel like, especially within entertainment and music, I do feel a lot of people are kind of keeping within a certain box. And I think it's
Interesting.
because a lot of people are focused on like pleasing the masses and like, you know, what's
Mhm.
acceptable, especially within like the Black community. Um, but yeah, I want to kind of push the envelope a little bit, see where that goes.
Yeah. Excited to see where that goes for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People just want to go viral by, and they're just doing that by copying and pasting instead of
Yeah.
like we want you people to be successful, obviously, but like it would be nice to have originality that goes viral instead of just like, oh, I saw this person do this, I'm gonna try to do it, and
Mhm.
doing the
Yeah.
same stuff.
Wow, wow, wow. Thinking here. Got me thinking. Man, wow, wow, wow. This is good. It's good. I'm gonna take everybody's, and then for for me, you know what I'm saying? I these next 6 months, the word that just stands out for me, like literally what everyone's been saying, is there. And I just see it as, for me, like I just need strength. So for me it's strength. Like
Mm.
I wanna improve like my mental strength, physical strength, social strength, like spiritual strength. Like that's just where I just want to be stronger. I feel really weak,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
in all ways. Like I feel defeated. I was thinking like a couple of days ago, I was talking to some homeboys, and I was just like, man, I don't know, like, I feel like a failure. I just feel like I don't know. It was just that moment. It was like one of those moments. I don't know if you ever had those moments. And it's like, yo, I just wow. These last couple of years, this last 6 months, whatever, you know, and then you try to snap out of it, and it kind of comes back. And I'm just like, yo, I'm thankful for like this and that. And I recognize, some of my weaknesses. And it's funny, there's a scripture that says, in our weakness, God's made strong,
Mm-hmm.
his strength is made perfect in that. Um, and I'm just like, yo, for these last 6 months, I just want the strength, like, and I just want to be strong, in all ways, man,
Mhm.
holistically,
Yeah.
and because sometimes some ideas will come to you that's not really true or not really you, like, oh, I'm a failure, or like I don't have this or whatever, and it's like when you really sit with it, it's like, nah, that's not really true,
Mhm.
or I'll never get to where I want to get to, like, because of these cycles and this and that. And there's always a friend, Wayne. He did the podcast, the older guy. He did the podcast last month. He's like, he always talks about these subtle attacks. There's always these subtle attacks of the enemy. You know what I'm saying? The enemy can sometimes look like yourself too. We know the devil, but he can use these other things. And it can be yourself, others, people, society. So I'm just, wanting these last 6 months to be strong. I want it to be strong. because I just see like, man, I'm just so weak, I'm so frail in all like aspects of it, you know. So yeah, that's where that's where I'm at. You know, got a little solemn there, but that's where I'm at. And I'm hoping.
What will you do to kind of like build your strength? What will you do to
Oh, okay. That's good.
Yeah,
That's good. That's
that's a good
good.
question.
Yeah, that's good. You know, part of me wants to say I could like say some stuff, but like you know, part of me is like I don't know. Like it's like I know what to do, right? So, but I don't know what I will do. I hope. But I would say this. Let me say this. You know, because life and death, right, are the tongue. So let me at least say it. You know, I hope he's still there. He's still going. I'm gonna let you go. But I hope, you know, and I want to. This is what I want to do. I do want to start working out. You know what I'm saying? There's like a Esporta. I just moved not too long ago. There's a Esporta like close to my house. So I may start going there. I did get a bike, so I was like, let me start getting the bike vibes, eating better. So I'm trying to get that like the 3 meals in, or even eating in between to like get my body. I lost like a lot of weight and stuff like that in these last couple like months, and I'm already kind of skinny, right? So it's like, you know, so I want to at least do that, get the meals right, get the sleeping right. Those are things that I want to do, and I've kind of been like saying that, right? But those are things that I really want to do. Getting the water intake right. Mentally, I'm gonna just try my best to like be more like encouraging to myself. You know what I'm saying? And also try to devour things that are good for me. You know, if it's not really like serving me in some way, I'm gonna try not to tap in. You know, whether it be some type of entertainment or something like that. If I need to be if I need some laughs, you know, then yeah. But maybe I don't want to get stuck in something that's like after a while it ain't doing anything for me. You know, I
Hmm.
want to do more. I used to do some sudokus back in the day, so I want to start doing those again.
Those are fun.
Yeah, they're fun and they help to build that mental up. Spiritually, start reading the word, the Bible some more, and wanting to like listen in more to know God more, facilitate more discussions just about God and life. Got this one on the 31st about pride, pride and like God, like how to navigate that. So I want to like exercise my strength with that, hearing different perspectives and open, you know, to different things. And I think socially, just like really like building with people I'm supposed to build with, like y'all and others that like giving those people my time instead of like some people say energy vampires, right? Or like I don't, you know. So that's how I think I could build my social strength, you know, and then be with my family and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a value thing. I think it goes back to like value, how you see yourself. You know, what's my lens like? How do I see God? How do I see myself? How do I see others? And that's where those are the things I think that I hope to do. You know, I want to get in a regiment of these things, especially with the physical, because they're all connected. The crazy thing is that they're all connected. Your
They are.
physical, your mental,
Yeah.
spiritual, like they're kind of all connected. So when one's a little like, it's gonna affect the others. You feel me?
Hmm.
So yeah, those are some things right there. I hope that.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a big
I feel
one.
like you should. Yeah.
What you say?
No, it's so big that I feel like you should write it down. Like I feel
Huh?
like you should just write all because it's part of holding every thought captive, right? Like you think a lot of
Yeah.
we think a lot of these thoughts and we think a lot of thoughts that are contrary to it, but like which ones are we actually holding up?
Mm,
We're holding up the ones that we're writing down that we're, make it write it down, make it plain, like make it very plain for you that another thought can't come and take it as if
right.
you didn't think it to begin with. So definitely write it down. And even I don't know, I like journaling, so
I
journal.
see that.
You
Yeah.
have a very I'm trying to make this really short too. You said a lot. Um you have a very active mind. So like that's one thing I know
Yeah.
about you, like just from knowing you, is just like and sometimes that can come with like a lot of like it could be self-criticism or just constantly like reviewing different things in life. And you just have to be very careful with that because there's a lot of things that, yeah, I think we can always grow. We can always need, something or whatever. But there's a lot of things that, just as even as a child of God, you have to remember like how he sees you, right? And so that even if your yesterday wasn't ideal, it's like, what would you do with this next moment? It's just like, okay, God, he's giving you this moment. Like, what thought will you, like Uju said, take captive? Like, what are you going to allow from here on out? I think that's one thing with thinkers, because I'm a fellow thinker as well, is like sometimes you just gotta control it and you gotta be like, you know what? These thoughts gonna have to take a
Mm-hmm.
back seat to
Yeah.
like certain things,
That's it.
Yeah.
you gotta really make sure you do that, bro. But you're very successful in like a lot of other ways. So like think I heard you say something that made me think that you're like, okay, you might not be where you want to be. I think you were saying like something like that earlier. But I mean, you have like you're, for example, president of like one of the biggest Adventist organizations like right now that's like on fire in like a group community. Like it's crazy how even as an Adventist myself, like I didn't know there was that many like young adults like spread out, and like you are like
Mhm.
the spearhead of a community that it has multiple groups of relationships. You have the spiritual Bible study side, you have the general chat, you have like there's like Wednesday night prayer meetings that are going on, like you have people that are having like weekend events, whether it's social or spiritual, and like a big part of why those connections are happening is because of like, you were dedicated to that. You were consistent. You were going out and saying like, hey, yo, we got this. Like, you, like, literally, there's people that are part of it, but you were a major hand of like building that community. And like, that's a
Mhm.
big part of why so many of us are going on Friday to Texas and stuff like that, is all because of you. So, like, there's certain things that you're doing that people couldn't touch. And like you're really being used by God in like just that one way. And I'm sure there's other ways I could say, but I want to like at least reaffirm you that even though I don't know if it's whether it's comparison or whatever, but there's certain things that you're doing that other people couldn't do. And like remember like those things.
Wow, thank you, bro. Praise God for that too. Thank you for like sharing that. Uh, that like really that really touched me. Thank you.
I guess one little
Yeah.
thing I wanted to add was kind of going back into what I brought up a little bit with like the dominion thing, and like how like our mind really is just a tool, and even though it's at like the top physically, I don't think it's like it's not like the truth of like everything. You have power, or at the end of the day, like you are the one that's controlling your mind, and you have the ability to kind of like filter out. Your mind can either create the biggest and greatest thing, or it can, be the very thing that breaks you down to like the smallest, tiniest bit. So it's a very powerful
Right.
tool. You just have to
Mhm.
know how to use it.
Nah, that's real.
Yeah, I just wanted to provide a little encouragement because I feel like you were describing a little bit of imposter syndrome, I think is what like people call it.
Mhm.
And one thing that kind of helps me, or when I feel down or just feel like I'm not doing enough or I just feel weak, I always remember, I think it was Matthew 11:28-30, where Jesus is saying, like,
Yeah.
take my yoke, for it's easy to bear, and we give him our burden. So I just want to encourage you to continue doing that if you are doing that or if you haven't. It kind of helps me know, like, it's okay if I feel overwhelmed or like just tired or weak, that I have a God that will allow me to literally cast that care to him, and then I could take his easygoingness and his love and kindness to help me get through whatever I'm going through.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. Like that was like a little mini therapy session right there. That I, like, thank you guys. Yo, man. Yeah, it gets crazy sometimes, and um, yeah, it gets wild out here. Thing that I'm grateful to have, individuals like yourself, walk alongside me and me, you. and we're just helping each other go forward. You know what I'm saying? So, through these next 6 months, man, let's think about this conversation, think about one another, the different things that, we said we were going to, walk into and keep each other lifted, for that, man. I want to thank you guys. Thank y'all for this moment, this special moment. A year later, the second, we just got to keep it going. If we keep it going every year, let's do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Keep it going, man.
Yeah.
Um, we'll see where we're at, man. Thank y'all for showing up. And
Thank you.
hey, man,
Yes, thank you.
grateful, grateful,
Being a good
grateful.
host.
Hmm.
Yo, appreciate y'all. Well, hey, thank you everybody for that'll listen, that will tune in. I know that there's some different platforms though that you guys are also a part of. If you guys want to share some of that too. If people may want to holler at you or get in contact with you, feel free to even share that right now. Before we wrap up the episode. I know, like, well, I'll let you guys share, different businesses that are here, you know what I'm saying? Just reiterate those, and let the people know. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I want to be sad.
Um,
There you go. Ooh, Jane,
no,
Jane,
sir.
let's
I
do it
feel
that
like
way.
you were looking at me.
Naomi,
I don't
Jane,
know.
then Jane. Let's go.
Um, yeah, so excuse me. My business page I will start off with is Cooking with Uju. That's cooking with UJU. I'm not active right now because I am a little busy, but I will be back on there with new services soon. Then my personal, if anyone really cares, is uju.ebay.
All right. Thank you. Who's next? I think it was Jane or Naomi. I think it was, yeah, Naomi, then Jane, then Jane. Yeah, there we go.
Um, I guess everything is all on one page. Naomi's interlude is the handle tag. I think it's called a handle. But yeah, Naomi's interlude. And yeah, that is it.
Thank you. All
All
right.
right. Let's see. So, from a travel perspective, I have a travel business, so I don't really use the travel page much. But if you want to follow some of my, I guess, adventures, then it could be following me on Escape with Shane on Instagram and TikTok. Um, from more of like, I guess, a spiritual perspective, kind of like this, I'm part of a show called The Walk Live. It's all on all podcast platforms, as well as YouTube. So at The Walk Live, we're on season 2 right now, so it's been fun. Joffrey's even on an episode as well, so invite you to check it out.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys are talented. I don't have any socials to share with you all.
Hey,
But I do want to say for all the listeners out there, I hope this podcast was really fun to listen to. And I'm just grateful for everyone on here. It's kind of crazy that it's been a year and just seeing how much we've grown and how much God is to continue to use us. I'm excited for that.
appreciate you guys, man. And you guys know where to find me. Hey, we are here, Sweet Somethings Podcast. Check us out. Sorry for the bling blings. That's my laptop. But yeah, hey, we hope that everyone who listened, that you gleaned something so that you can grow, and that you would have a great rest of 2024. And
Yeah.
thank you to the crew. Thank you, Shane, Naomi, Uju. Definitely wishing y'all the best,
Yes,
man.
can't
And
wait to do this.
until next year.
Yeah.
2026?
Yeah. 2020. Wait,
2025.
That's funny.
2025. 2025.
25. Okay, I
2025.
lost track after
Thank
2019.
y'all.
Lost track.
2019. Okay.
That's fair.
Funny.
All right. All right, y'all. Well, blessings. Y'all have a great rest of the evening. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Sweet Somethings podcast. All right.